Hi everyone, welcome to the homework feedback peer marking exercise I've asked you to do. So you all did a homework for me and handed it in. Now you've got somebody else in front of you. You're now going to mark their work. Okay, now there's three things you have to do. Okay, if the person in front of you has gained the mark, that's a tick. If they've lost the mark, if they've not gained that specific mark, you need to cross it. And lastly is where maybe most of your work's going to go and where most of my work comes when I have to mark homework. If they have made a mistake, but then from there they have done all the right steps, so their working is correct from their mistake, you give them a tick with a cross through it. Okay, now that's the three things you're going to use to mark. Now let's go on with it. First one here, simplifying. Okay, your first step should be 6x minus 12 plus 3, which becomes 6x minus 9. Okay, mark for that line, mark for that line. Okay, this one becomes 3x squared minus 2x minus x squared plus x. Mark for that line. Okay, the place where people are going to lose their mark there is in there, because that's going to be a negative. Notice if we've got negative x multiplied by negative 1, it's going to be a positive 1x. Okay, so just a wee note there if you have lost that mark yourself. And then when we tidy it up, it's going to be 2x squared minus x. Second mark there. Okay, so there's your first set of questions. Second set of questions, nice and easy. It will be x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10. And then x squared minus 3x minus 10. So the marks again, one for each line. Okay, this one here, when you multiply out the squared brackets, it's x minus 3 times x minus 3, which becomes x squared minus 3x plus 9, which becomes x squared minus 6x plus 9. Now, you are just getting 2 marks there, one for multiplying out the brackets, probably one for tidying up. Now, there are some steps that may be missed out, that's fine. I'm just going to have the benefit of the doubt, seeing as you're not in front of me. If they've missed it out, give them the mark. Okay, as long as the one after is correct, obviously. Okay, so factorise the following. That's going to be 2 bracket 2x minus 9. Okay, just a mark there. Then it's 2x bracket x minus 2. Again, just a mark. Okay, difference of two squares now, no common factors, so it's just both of those multiplied. One with a minus, one with a plus, just one mark. This one here, 2x plus 5y, 2x minus 5y. It's a little bit more complicated difference of two squares. You square 2x to get the 4x squared, and you square the 5y to get the 25y squared. Okay, so a mark there. Okay, last. Now we start doing some trinomials. Okay, so it's going to be x minus 2x plus 1. Now I want you to give, nope, rubbish, absolute mince, minus 1. Okay, I want you to give 2 marks here. I want 1 if you've got the right numbers in there. Okay, so if you've got 2 and 1, give them 1 mark. If they've got everything correct, so that's numbers and signs, give them a second mark. Okay. Okay, this one starts being a little bit trickier. So it's 2x and x. Now we've got to make minus 12 to get to minus 5. We need to go minus 4 there and plus 3 there. And 2 marks again. Okay, the first one I want for the correct numbers, the second one for the whole thing correct. Okay, now not many people will get that. It's kind of got up towards the higher end of what we've been doing, but if you have, excellent. Okay, down here in part A, first thing you need to do is take out a common factor. Okay, and if you've done that, mark, nice and easy, common factor 2. Now the next bit that makes this tricky is what's left in that bracket now is a difference of two squares. It is 1 plus 4x and 1 minus 4x, and you're going to get a mark there. And B, you've got a factor of 3 and everything there, so x squared minus x minus 12 gets you a mark. Now notice how they are actually quite simple to get at least a mark in. Those ones you're just taking out a common factor, but people like to panic when they see those. But we're not going to do that. And then go from there. You're now factorising a 12, so it's -4 and +3. Okay, just a mark to go from that first line to the last line. Okay, that's us so far. 5 minutes, going strong. Right, the following in the form of that form. Okay, so we're completing the square. So remember, the square bracket is going to be half of that 4 term. So it's x plus 2 all squared. But if I squared that one out, that 2 squared would give me a 4. I don't have a 4, I've got a 6, so I need to add 2. Okay, 1 mark for the bracket being correct, 1 mark for the +2 being correct. Okay, same here, that's x minus 3 squared. If it was 3 squared, it would give me 9. I've not got 9, I've got -3, so I need to take away 12 to get from a +9 down there. 1 for the bracket, 1 for the minus 12. That's just funny. Oh, we're into diagrams and everything now. Okay, so the safety guard in a sucker saw a sector angle, calculate the area of the blade which is exposed. Okay, so we're looking for the area of a sector, and we know that the sector area is the angle that we have multiplied by the area of the whole circle. Okay, I want a mark there for that. Okay, I'm going to give a mark out just for knowing that that's there. Okay, which is 320 over 360 times by pi times 50 squared. Again, mark, see how easy it is? And then if we go into our unrounded answer first, 7 and so on, because it's asking for rounding in the question, I'm going to give you a mark there as well, and then it asks for the nearest millimetre squared, so it's 6981 millimetres squared. Okay, you need your rounding and your units for that last mark. Now if they've jumped straight from 1, 2 and then and they've missed out that rounded answer, I want you to take that mark off. Do not give that mark if they've done that, if they've just jumped straight, because that's the level we need to get to. That's what the SQA are unreasonably, I might add, asking us to do, so may as well start training now. Okay, this one's slightly trickier. You're working backwards. Okay, we're talking about an area of a sector. Okay, so we're using the sector area formula, and I'm not going to give a mark for this time. I've given one already. Okay, but that goes down. The first mark's going to come when we sub in there. So the sector area is 200. The angle, I don't know what that is. Let's keep that theta. And the radius is 15 squared. Now, there's your mark. There's your first mark there. Okay, then we start rearranging. We need to cancel out that times by all of that. So we're going to divide. So divide by 15 squared is equal to theta over 360, and then we need to cancel out divide by 360, so theta is equal to 200 over pi times 15 squared multiplied by 360. Okay, if you get to that point correctly, there's your next mark. I know it's stingy, but that's the way it's going to go. Okay, so that means theta is equal to 101.859 and so on, which means theta, squeeze in at the bottom, is equal to 102 degrees. Okay, and because it's not asked for any rounding, I'm just going to give a mark for anything around there. Just one mark if you've got anything around 102. Okay, what are we doing now? That's a bit too big, let's make that smaller. Technology, beautiful. Right, right, this time we'll get given information about the length of the arc. Okay, so we're looking for arc length is equal to theta over 360 pi d. We know it's a fraction of the circumference. Well, let's have a generous mark again in there. Okay, which means when you're looking for the angle, we don't know the angle, but we know the arc length is 7. The angle's theta. The diameter of that is going to be pi times 12 mark, and then you rearrange, so it's going to be 7 divided by pi times 12 is equal to theta over 360, and then 7 over pi times 12 multiplied by 360 is equal to theta. Mark. that's 3 sig figs again, but it's not asked for any rounding, so a mark for anything around there. Oh, easy. 4/3 pi r cubed, no mark for that because it's going to be on your formula sheet that you need to use. But it's 4/3 times pi times 2.8 cubed, which equals 91.952 and so on. There is marks for rounding here, so we have to have both of these. And it's two significant figures, so that's 92 centimeters cubed. If there's no units, I want you not to give them the mark. Okay, we're getting 1 mark for substituting incorrectly, 1 mark for unrounded, 1 mark for rounded. Let's make that smaller as well. Right, it's a 3-part question, this one. Okay, so part A, looking for the volume of the paint in the tank. That should be nice and easy, just a cuboid, so volume is equal to 50 times 45 times 80, which is 180,000 centimeters cubed. Again, need the units, please. Mark for each of those. Very generous. Let's put B over here. B, cylindrical is pi r squared h. You won't get that in the formula sheet, so I'm going to give you a wee mark there, which equals pi times the radius of that cylinder is 8 and the height is 20. Right, I've cheated a wee bit, but there's your answer for the cylinder. So you're getting a mark for pi times 8 squared times 20, and let's give it a mark for the final answer of 4021 or abouts because it's not asked for rounding. And part C, ask, oops, not got a pen in my hand. How many times can the paint tin be completely filled from the tank? So you want to see how many of these fit into that. Okay, or how many times this can go into the cylinder paint tin. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the divide. So it's 180,000 divided by 4021. Okay, now the answer you get in your calculator, if you've done it exact using your last answer, is 44.76. But if you notice, the question says completely filled, so it'll be 44 times. Okay, now mark there 1 for knowing to divide and 1 for getting the correct answer. Okay, so 44, not 44.76, because it's asking for complete. Okay, got me nearly there. Okay, okay, simplify the expressions. Okay, so that one on the top is going to be 16x to the power 6 over 2x to the power 5. So I want a mark for getting the top line correct there. Okay, and then that becomes 8x to the power 1 or just 8x. Either way, give them a mark. Okay, the second one is 10x to the power 5 over 2x cubed. Okay, top line gets a mark. Equals 5x squared. Another mark. Right, little bit trickier. We know we're taking away when we divide with powers. 2/3 take away 5/3 is negative 3/3, so it'll be x to the power negative 1. Okay, now we've got to leave our answers with a positive index. That gets you a mark, by the way. We know that negative power means it should be in the bottom as x to the power 1 or just x. Second mark. Okay, B, we're multiplying out brackets. First one we were doing is x hat to the power of half, x squared, multiplied together. So it's going to be 2.5 or 5 halves as an improper fraction. Give them a mark just for that x to the power of 5 halves. And then the same there, except this time it's going to be 7 halves. Okay, and I want another mark in there. Okay, doing 2 multiplications, I want to see them. Okay, so there's no more else we can do in terms of simplifying because they have different powers. So that's us done. Right, simplify. Okay, so 3 root 20 times 3 times root 4 times root 5, take away root 5. I want a mark there for that if they've got root 4 and root 5 anywhere. Okay, it doesn't have to be in that sum. If they've got root 4 and root 5 anywhere, that's going to give them that, which gives them, oops, I missed a step there. Let me go back a wee bit. So that's 3 times 2 times root 5, take away root 5, which really means 6 root 5, subtract root 5. Okay, I'm going to get another mark for getting to that point with a 6 root 5. Anywhere that's got a 6 root 5, that's okay for the mark. And then the last one's when you take away that root 5 from 6 of them, that gives you 5. So there's 3 marks in there. Okay, and I'm going to be a little bit harsher with this one because I've just given out some marks for this. That root 12 becomes root 4 times root 3, which becomes 4 and 2. So 4 times 2, so that's 8 root 3 is your first half. Then it's plus 2 root 75, which really means root 25 times root 3. That's 2. That really means 5, so it's plus 10 root 3. And then add them together makes 18 root 3. Okay, so marks in there. I want 1 for getting 8 root 3, 1 for getting 10 root 3, and then 1 for getting your answer. Okay, doke. Now, rationalise the denominators. First things first, ignore that D. Okay, it's not in the level we want to do, we've not done it. Just ignore it. Apologies for not spotting that earlier. Okay, now part A, we need to multiply that by root 10 over root 10. If you can see that, do that a mark. Give that a mark. Okay, so it's going to be 8 root 10 over 6 times 10, so 60. Okay, also a mark. And then that's going to be 4 over 30 or 2 over 15, so it's 2 root 10 over 15. Generous mark at the end there, but I'll give it anyway. Times root 7 over root 7. Mark. And then that's going to be 3 root 7 over 14. Second mark. Times by root 11 over root 11. Now I'm not going to stop giving marks for this because it's really important you write that down, which is 10 root 11 over 33. Mark. Okay, so 7 marks, nice and easy. Simplifying, we're looking at algebraic fractions. Now you cannot simplify an algebraic fraction unless it's been factorised. Okay, so we factorise the top line, which is x minus 2x plus 1, and that will get you a mark. The bottom one is x plus 2. Oh, I'm still in red. The whole thing's gone to hell. Okay, x plus 2, x plus 1 also gets you a mark. Oh, what's going on? I'm all coloured daft. Right, and then your x plus 1's cancel and just leave you at x minus 2, x plus 2. There's a third mark for you. Okay, so factorise top, factorise bottom, then cancel any factors in common, gets you a third mark. Okay, this one factorises to x minus 3, x minus 1 over x minus 3, x plus 2. Mark for each again. And then x minus 3 is cancelled and it's x minus 1 over x plus 2. Second mark. Or third mark even. Right, nice and easy. Multiply fractions, x squared over 6. I'll do it. 5pq over 15p. Mark. And then simplify to, well, the 5 and the 15 is going to become 1/3. The p's will cancel, so it'll be q over 3. Get you that second mark. Okay. First thing we need to do when we're dividing fractions is multiply by its reciprocal or its upside downy one. If you do that, you get a mark. Multiply across is 3a squared over 18a. You do that, you'll get a mark. And then cancel, it'll be a over 6. Mark. Okay, a bit trickier. The the 1 times x squared minus 1 is just going to be x squared minus 1. The 2 multiplied by x minus 1 is going to be 2 bracket x minus 1. Okay, so there's your first mark. Now the next bit is a little bit tricky, but that x squared minus 1, remember if we're cancelling simplifying algebra we need it factorised. That x squared minus 1, sorry, can factorise to x minus 1 x plus 1 over 2x minus 1. If you've done that, get a mark. And the last one, your x minus 1's cancel, so it's x plus 1 over 2. And here, that's equal to x squared minus 4 over 3 multiplied by 6 over x minus 2. Mark. Notice how these questions are quite tricky, but there's always marks you can get just by knowing how to start them off. That's going to be 6 multiplied by x squared minus 4 over 3 bracket x minus 2. Mark there. Okay, the 6, well actually the x squared minus 4 at the top, that there factorises to x plus 2x minus 2 all over 3 bracket x minus 2. And then the x minus 2's will cancel. The 6 over 3 will cancel as well, and you'll just have 2x plus 2. Okay, I'll be very impressed if people are getting all the marks here, by the way. This tricky question, so let's give a mark there and a mark there. Doc, last two, and I said it would be about 20 minutes or so. I'm not doing too bad. The first one, this can actually be done without a calculator. I kind of did it briefly today. Okay, but either way, you should end up with 27 times 10 to the power 12. And I'm just going to give you a mark for that one, okay? Now, this one down here, 1.5 million copies of a newspaper are for to write 1.5 million in standard form, which is the same as scientific notation, so it will be 1.5 times 10 to the power 6, because 1.5 million is 1,500,000. So there's 6 jumps. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, to get the point in there, there's a mark. Each copy of the newspaper has 80 pages, total number of pages. So it's going to be 1.5. Do you know what? I'm just going to keep it in red. I know I've messed up, but I'm going to keep it there. Just because we've reached the last question and we're having a good time. Okay, so multiply that by 80. That gets you a mark. And then your answer will be 1, 2, how many zeros? That's 6. Okay, but that answer's not good enough. It needs to be in standard form or scientific notation, so it's 1.2 times 10 to the power 8. And there's your second mark. Okay, now thanks for being with you. It may have taken you a couple of goes just to get through that, in terms of maybe a wee pause halfway through for a break. But that should be the homework in front of you marked as best as you can. Now I'm hoping, I know that's maybe asking a lot to jump in, but I thought I'd give it a wee shot and give it a wee try and see how it goes. Now the last thing I want you to do is, well, there's 3 things here. I would like you to total it. Yeah, okay, I want you to total it and give it a mark. Okay, so your total, something out of something. I want you to give 2 stars on a wish, basically. Okay, so 2 stars, 2 things that they've done well. We look at topics, if you need to look at presentation and where they're picking up marks. I would be looking at stuff like, okay, stars, I've done really well with surds. You've done really well with algebraic fractions. And then I want you to give them a wish. Okay, so what's the symbol for wish? I've not been a primary school teacher. Let's just write wish. Yay, wish. Okay, you maybe need to do some work with factorising. Okay, so if you could give them a total, but then the really important thing is if you can identify what they're good at and what they're bad at. If there's a couple of things, maybe sneak in a second wish, but only do that if there is a clear couple of things that you need to help them with. Now, you may be confused with some parts of that. I'm hoping not, but if you get any questions about the marking, then come see me. And we can sort it out together. Okay, but what I'd like on Thursday is every jot given back to me with a mark and 2 stars on which I can read and look at, and then you're getting the benefit as well of going through those questions again and seeing how they should be answered. Thank you very much. I'm just going to talk for 7 seconds so it lasts exactly 25 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye.